30 years ago, my relationship with the entire institutional world, it existed between me and my mailbox. The bank sent me a statement, the electric company sent me a bill, my doctor sent me a postcard reminding me I was due for a checkup. It all landed in a metal box at the end of my driveway. And I would walk out there once a day, collect it, drop it in a bin by the front door, and that was it. Once a month, my wife and we'd sit down at the kitchen table. We'd open the envelopes, we write checks, we lick stamps, we put the stamped envelopes in the outgoing mail, and we were done. No one bothered us again for 30 days. That was the deal. That was the total cognitive footprint of being an adult participating in financial, medical, and administrative systems in society. A couple of hours a month at the kitchen table. I want you to sit with that for a second, because I don't think most people under 40 have any idea that this was the baseline. They think what we have now is what it's always been like. It isn't. Let me tell you what happened yesterday. I needed to log into my health insurance portal because I got a text telling me I had a new message from my primary care doctor. It was important. Please log in to view. I couldn't remember the password, of course, because who could? I have conservatively 200 different accounts. So I clicked forgot password like we all do. It sent me a reset link to my email. I clicked the link. It asked me to create a new password. Must contain one uppercase, one number, one symbol, whatever. Can't be any of the following 12 passwords, right? So let's make it harder. So I made one up. It rejected it. I made another one up. That one got accepted. Then it asked for a two-factor code. It texted the code to my phone. I typed it in. It timed out. I requested another code, typed it in, and now I'm logged in. So now I can read the message. The message from my doctor says, your lab results are normal. That's it. That's the message. 4 words that could have been left on my voicemail in 1995 or printed on a postcard or simply just not sent at all because if something was really wrong, they would have probably called me. 10 minutes of my life for 4 words. Now, multiply that by every institution that now requires you to have an account. Your bank, your mortgage, your car insurance, your health insurance, your dentist, your kid's school, your kid's doctor, the IRS, the DMV, whatever, the electric company, the gas company, the internet provider, your cell phone company, your pharmacy, your streaming services, the airline, your credit cards, your Amazon, your eBay, your PayPal, your Venmo, your Zelle, every single one, its own password requirements, its own two-factor setup, its own inexplicable policy for logging you out every 30 days for your own protection. This is what we call convenience. Here's the thing that gets me. Every one of these systems was sold to us as a labor-saving device, right? Log in from home, access your records anytime. No more waiting on hold. But look at what actually happened. The labor didn't disappear. It got transferred. It got transferred from the institution, which used to pay a person to do it, to you, who now does it for free in your evenings, on your couch, after a full day of work. 30 years ago, when I went to a new doctor, they handed me a 1-page intake form. Name, address, insurance, current medications, allergies, reason for the visit. Done. Why was it short? Because somebody in that office had to take that form and hand type the information into a computer. Every field cost them money, so they would ask for the basic minimum. Now I get a 14-page digital intake that I have to fill out on my phone before the appointment. They want to know if I had my tonsils out. They want to know about every surgery in my life. They want to know if any blood relative ever had a heart disease, diabetes, cancer, stroke, mental illness, or dementia. They want me to rate my pain, my mood, my sleep, my sexual function, and my stress level on a 10-point scale. They want to know my religious preference in case, of course, of emergencies. I'm there to have a wart frozen off my finger. I've actually started doing something. When I go to a new doctor and they hand me one of these things, I tell them I've never had a single thing wrong with my body in my entire life. No surgeries, no conditions, no family history, nothing. I'm pristine. Because if you're going to ask me about my gallbladder removal when I'm here about a wart, I'm not telling you. You don't need to know that. You want to know that because the form is free for you, but it's expensive for me, and the whole economic logic of the thing has been inverted so that my time is worthless and their time is precious. And it's not just the volume, it's the flakiness. Half the time these systems don't work. The portal's down for maintenance. The two-factor code doesn't arrive. The app needs an update before you can use it. Or your session expires, your account's locked for suspicious activity, which of course means you logged in from your couch using a different browser. You got to unlock it by calling a phone number that puts you in a queue for 45 minutes so a human can verify your identity by asking you questions about a car loan you had in 2008. And while you're doing all of this, you also have to defend yourself. You have to watch for phishing emails that look exactly like your bank. You have to not click links and texts that look exactly like FedEx. You have to worry about identity theft, which, by the way, did not meaningfully exist 50 years ago. Nobody's grandfather in 1975 was sitting around worrying that a Romanian teenager was going to drain his checking account from 6,000 miles away. That entire category of anxiety is new. We invented it. And then we handed it to every single person and we said, here, this is yours now. Good luck. Figure it out. And here's the part that really gets me if that's not enough. You can't opt out. You can't say, you know what? I don't want any of this. I'll pay cash. I'll use paper. I'll write checks. I'll just call on the phone. No, because the systems no longer support that. Try to get through life in 2026 without a cell phone. Try to get through life without an email address. Try to pay your electric bill with a check and see how many of the companies you deal with will even accept it anymore without a surcharge. The participation is mandatory. This burden is invisible, but you have to have it. And the people who designed the burden, they don't bear any of it. This is the boiling frog. The metaphor everyone uses, no one really applies to their own life. It just happens slowly, right? One account at a time, one password at a time, one two-factor setup at a time, one 14-page intake form at a time. Each one on its own was minor. Each one on its own was even defensible, really. Security is important after all. We need this for insurance. It's just easier for you to do it online. But if you go to sleep in 1990 and you wake up in 2026 and you try to live for 1 week, you would lose your mind. You would not believe what has been done to ordinary adult life. You would look at your own grown children navigating this without complaint and think, what happened to you? How did you come to accept this? How did any of us come to accept this? The answer is we didn't really accept it exactly. It was installed on us, one small increment at a time, while we were busy. Now I want to say something about what this does to people, because I don't think it's just annoying. I think this is corrosive. We are in the middle of an anxiety epidemic. We're in the middle of a depression epidemic. And the usual explanations, social media, isolation, loneliness, phones, the news, those are all real. Of course they are. I'm not disputing any of them. But I think there's another one hiding in plain sight and no one names it because it doesn't have a dramatic name. It's just the low, constant, grinding background hum of all this administrative labor, and it never stops. It's this feeling of always having something undone. There's always a renewal. There's always a subscription to cancel. There's always a password that needs resetting, another form that you have to fill out, a portal to log into, a notification that you're not sure if it's junk or important, and you have to open it to find out, right? You never ever get to the bottom of this list. This list is infinite by design. 30 years ago, when my wife and I sealed those envelopes and walked them to the mailbox, there was a feeling that came with it. It's called being done, at least for a month. That feeling, it doesn't exist anymore. Nothing's ever done. The inbox refills the moment you empty it. The to-do list grows faster than you can cross items off. And I would argue that a human nervous system, it wasn't built to exist in this state. We're built for seasons, for rhythms, for the satisfaction of completion. We were built for the kitchen table once a month. We were not built for a permanent state of low-grade administrative sludge. So what do I want people to take from this? I don't have a 5-point action plan. I'm not going to tell you to download a password manager. And I'm definitely not going to tell you to delete all your accounts. I know you can't. All I want is for you to name it. I want you to notice the next time you spend 15 minutes trying to log into something to read a message that didn't even need to be sent. I want you to know you're not crazy, that you're not uniquely incompetent. And this problem is not that you just need to be more organized. The problem is that an enormous amount of work has been transferred onto you without your consent. And it's real work, and it's wearing you down. And we just aren't allowing ourselves to be angry about it, but we should be. We have to stop blaming ourselves for the fact that modern life feels harder than it should. Because the secret that nobody will say out loud is, it is harder than it should be. And it's on purpose. Because making it harder for us made it cheaper for them. And the first step to getting any of it back is refusing to pretend the burden isn't there. 30 years ago, I had a mailbox. Once a month, we sat down at the kitchen table, and then we were done. I want that back, and I don't think I'm alone. If this landed, please subscribe. Plenty more content to come. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.